Welcome to Tales of Honor, a podcast with a mission to tell the true stories of every recipient of our nation's highest military award, the Medal of Honor. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Tales of Honor podcast. This is episode number 467, and I'm your host, Christoph Ambrose. Probably should throw that out every once in a while for any new listeners that happen to stumble upon my voice and this show. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for checking the back catalog and sticking with going forward. And be sure to hit that subscribe button. Just go ahead and smash it. Smash that like button, that subscribe button, and that follow button, all the buttons. Just go ahead and smash them all except for the dislike button. Don't touch that one. Stay far, far away from it. Or actually, I don't care what you do. But that's enough rambling for today. I don't have any birthdays to go over. Like I mentioned in the last episode, we're done with birthdays for the month. We'll pick back up on the next episode. And with that, let's get into today's Tale of Honor. Paul was born on the 25th of March, 1889 in Wichita, Kansas, and because of his father being a minister, he spent his childhood moving around and would end up in Idaho. He entered the University of Idaho in Moscow after graduating high school in 1906, and after 1 year received an appointment to the U.S. Naval Academy. While at the academy, he reached the rank of cadet commander and served as commander of Midshipman Battalion, graduating in June of 1911 with a Bachelor of Science degree. Paul was commissioned as an ensign 1 month later and was on board the USS Utah under the command of Captain William Benson when it was ordered to intercept a German-flagged steamer that was en route to Mexico. When the steamer arrived in Veracruz, the U.S. officially began the Mexican campaign, and it was Paul's actions during those 2 days that would later earn him the Medal of Honor. The citation reads, "For distinguished conduct in battle, engagements of Veracruz, 21-22 April, 1914, in both days fighting at the head of his company, Ensign Foster was eminent and conspicuous in his conduct, leading his men with skill and courage." Following the campaign, Paul transferred to New London, Connecticut for submarine training, and upon completion he was assigned to the USS G4. This was an experimental submarine that he had served as the executive officer for a year before taking over as the commanding officer. When the U.S. entered into World War I, Paul requested to be assigned to a European war zone, but his request was turned down by his old commanding officer, now Admiral William Benson. By July of 1917, he was temporarily promoted to lieutenant and served as a submarine tender and then navigator on the USS Bushnell, before serving as an aide to the Chief of Staff to the Commander, Submarine Force, Atlantic Fleet. Paul was then the commander of the USS L2 while patrolling Atlantic waters in July of 1918, and when a German submarine was spotted, initially thought to be a buoy, Paul lined up the L2 for a torpedo shot. Before any command or action could take place, the German submarine, now known to be the SMUB-65, exploded and sank with no survivors or bodies recovered. For his actions during this event, Paul received the Navy Distinguished Service Medal and was temporarily promoted to lieutenant commander. After the war, Paul traveled to the Philadelphia Navy Yard and was appointed to the USS Trenton as its engineer officer and sailed to the Mediterranean Sea for a shakedown cruise. In October of 1924, the Trenton was participating in gunnery drills near Norfolk, Virginia, when the powder bags in the forward turret exploded. Every member of the gun crew was either killed or injured in the explosion, and Paul entered the turret and extinguished the fire. He received the Navy Cross for these actions, and once the ship was repaired, both he and the Trenton sailed to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. In 1929, Paul resigned from active duty and spent 10 years in the U.S. Naval Reserve, and spent some time with various civilian organizations and traveled to the Galapagos Islands for a resource survey with the Pacific Development Company. He was recalled to active duty when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, and while he did not participate in combat during World War II, he performed many logistics duties and was promoted to Rear Admiral and appointed to be the Assistant Naval Inspector General in August of 1943. Paul retired and was put on the inactive list in October of 1946 at the rank of Vice Admiral after 23 years of active service. Now a civilian, Paul became the Vice President of Mandel Brothers Incorporated in Chicago and held this position until late 1950. He was later appointed Special Assistant to General Manager for International Activities for the Atomic Energy Commission, later becoming the Acting General Manager in 1957. President Eisenhower appointed Paul to be the permanent U.S. representative to the International Atomic Energy Agency in Vienna, Austria, and he officially retired in April of 1961 in Virginia Beach. Paul Frederick Foster died on the 30th of January, 1972, at the age of 82, and he is buried with his wife, Isabel, in Arlington National Cemetery, Section 5, Lot 106. 4 years after his death, a Spruance-class destroyer was named in his honor, the USS Paul F. Foster, DD 964. And that was a tale of honor. Thank you for listening to Tales of Honor, and if you enjoyed the show, please be sure to subscribe and tell your friends and family. Tales of Honor is written and produced by Christoph Ambrosch, and theme music is Loyalty and Duty by Floruz Music. If you have any questions, you can send an email to talesofhonorpodcast@gmail.com, and please be sure to visit talesofhonorpodcast.com for more episodes and information.